Welcome to Exciting Wednesday. And I say it's Exciting Wednesday because I just came back from Onaway, which is about 22 miles away towards towards the west to drop off an invoice to the Catholic Church, in which I destroyed 6 mighty stumps. Then came back and checked at an apartment complex to see if I was still on for my 10 o'clock appointment to erase some stumpage there for fun and profit. And I've got some time here to ramble on about bows. Ramble on, as the wise man Led Zeppelin once said. I was looking at my encyclopedia of Native American Bows, Arrows, and Quivers by Jim Ham and Steve Alloway. The volume had all the western bows, going from Comanche to Kiowa, Arapaho, Blackfoot, running the gamut of horse bows, looking for commonalities. After so much, taking my life and just wrapping it in a cocoon of horse bows produced by various tribes, it's starting to click. And what I mean by that is entering the realm where you understand them. You know them, you love them. And I can now, I've got enough handle to understand the subtleties of the differences between the various tribes, regional groups, and similarities, the differences, the similarities, widths, thicknesses, lengths, the whole thing. So can zero on that into that magical quality of like making a horse bow correctly, getting into it. I also thinking of my second book, which I want to write. And I'll have time this winter. I keep saying I'm going to write it, but this winter I truly will have time. I'm not going to be doing tree work for fun and profit. I'm not going to be stump grinding. I'm only going to be working at the grocery store 2 days a week because fruit buying slows down, believe it or not, in the winter months. And so it's going to be bows and a book. And there's so many things that I could pack into it. It needs to be diverse, yet it needs to be coherent. And I think one of them is going to be delving deeply into the world of horse bows. Now, you take a longbow. I'm just going to take like a semi-finished one because you can see. Nice and long. This is probably about, 65 inches long, right? The narrow, deepened handle. Good for ground hunting. You want to go hunting? Want to be consistent about it? You'd probably choose one of these over something like this. But there's a magic to these things. There's the thinking of the pounding hoofbeats of the horse and the buffalo. The bravery, the dedication, the rather than just the quiet kind of, catching a deer in the woods. This is more of a battle. I've never hunted from horseback. But I can almost liken it, and I'm being very generous with myself here, liken it to the Russian boar hunt I was on, because it wasn't like deer hunting, or squirrel hunting, where it takes skill, takes dedication, stealth, practice. But it's not a war, Get the deer, they run off. You wait a while. You don't just go chasing right after them. Have a cup of coffee. But with the other animals, maybe bear, I don't know, I've never hunted arrows for bear. It's more of a battle. It's more of a me against them kind of a thing, and it carries through the psychology of these things. Chuck, I know you're going to watch this. Your suggestion was to go to the AI search and explain, kind of going far afield here, Atlatl is an Aztec word. They were used on all the various continents, except Antarctica, of course. Because the only people that lived on Antarctica were the Anuki, the aliens. Nazis and dinosaurs. I say jestingly. Absolutely. What did they call them in other areas? In the AI, they answered them. And trust me, there's a lot of like words for dart throwers that I couldn't pronounce. And so, you know, AI is a useful term or a useful tool for searching. But I've got my bow. Today is pounding sinews and sinew backing bows. You can probably see it glistening. The sizing. I was very careful. I may, in fact, put more sizing on it when I'm using my current favored method of sinew backing. This is 6 complete tendons that have been processed, not over-processed. If you over-process them, you're going to weaken them. So I don't over-process them. And let's see. At this temperature, is it still... Yes, it's still fluid. It's not super hot. And I just pull them out. This is another example. You know, I've talked about it before. I sell a bow like this. Person buys it, and I explain. Do not draw it past this much. Do not distance, draw length. Do not draw it past this poundage. It is what it is. And then I could literally, absolutely, because I've seen this, sell it to somebody, like in that case of that one person, drawing it back this far and killing it. The same thing kind of works with this. I've got a big old mass, 6 tendons in here, right? And when I dig them out, I might have a target. I want to get, this is tough to describe because they're different sizes. I want to get this size of bundle out of this. I might carry more than that out of that plastic bag, starting to create a rat's nest. If 4 want to come out and I'm going for 3, I'm going to take 4. If I'm going for 1 and 5 want to come out, I'm going to take all 5. I'm going to work with this big old bundle of sinew. And suppose I only need 2 fibers, right? I get 5 out. I just separate them out of here. I'm going to take my 2, take the other 3, and just lay them on the side of the plastic bag and use them next. You have to work with the material. You have to work with the bow in order to not create rat's nests or a broken bow. That is the ting. I guess that's about it. I better make a second cup of coffee because I am going to destroy Stumps. Did I scare you? Those Stumps better be scared because they are not going to live long. Actually, it's kind of fun, you know. I love this. Northern Michigan, beautiful place, right? Drinking your coffee, getting in your truck, driving to a job site, thinking about what you're going to be doing. You know, if you get a little hungry, you're not on the clock, you can just kind of stop and grab like a granola bar. If you don't feel like stopping, you just keep on working. You're done when you're done. You know, it's fun. And then I contrast that with last year at this time. Suffering along. I'm doomed. I'm a produce manager. There is no hope. You know, but it just kind of shows, as long as you do have, you know, the wherewithal and you think outside of the box, there's usually some hope there. There's ways to do things. Yesseree, that is a gorgeous piece of Osage-ness. A lot of bows in there. A lot of bows. The seed. What could be? What am I going to create out of these things? Yep.